He's known for timeless charm, unforgettable performances, and one of the most elegant presences in Hollywood. But behind the fame, Richard Gere's story is about much more than movies. It's about courage, conviction, and compassion. Today, we'll explore the incredible journey of Richard Gere, from his early dreams and breakthrough roles to the moments he risked his career for his beliefs and the deep spiritual path that shaped the man behind the actor. Stay with me until the end, because Gere's life offers lessons about purpose, reinvention, and how true greatness often shines far beyond the spotlight. Section 1. Early Life and Foundations. Richard Tiffany Gere was born in Philadelphia in 1949 and grew up in Syracuse, New York. From a young age, he was drawn to music, playing the trumpet, and excelled in gymnastics and philosophy. He even earned a scholarship to the University of Massachusetts as a gymnast before deciding to leave college and follow a different calling: acting. That bold decision, walking away from safety to chase passion, would define his life. He began on stage, performing in plays like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, and later in London's Grease. But it was his performance in Bent, 1979, a powerful drama about persecution in Nazi Germany, that showed his courage to take roles that challenged society's comfort zone. Gere wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing truth through art. Section 2. Breakthrough to stardom. By the late 70s, Richard Gere was making his way to the big screen. Days of Heaven, directed by Terrence Malick, revealed his quiet intensity and poetic screen presence. Then came the role that made him a global name: American Gigolo, 1980. The image of Gere walking through his apartment to Blondie's Call Me became iconic, not because of glamour, but because it symbolized independence and vulnerability all at once. 2 years later, An Officer and a Gentleman cemented his star power. The final scene, where he carries Deborah Winger in his arms, became one of cinema's most romantic moments. But Gere's real strength wasn't the fame, it was his ability to keep evolving. In Primal Fear, he stepped away from romance into moral ambiguity. In Chicago, he danced and sang his way to a Golden Globe, proving once again that discipline and curiosity have no age limit. Section 3. Challenges and Reinvention. Behind the camera, Gere faced obstacles few could see. His outspoken activism for Tibet and human rights led to real consequences. After publicly condemning the Chinese government at the 1993 Oscars, he was quietly blacklisted in Hollywood circles dependent on China's market. Yet, rather than silence himself, Gere doubled down on independent film, choosing stories with depth instead of budgets with zero soul. Movies like Arbitrage, 2012, and Norman, 2016, reminded critics that Richard Gere's talent had only grown sharper with time. He turned rejection into reinvention. And through that, he proved that integrity isn't negotiable, it's the price of peace. Section 4. Spirituality and Humanitarian Work. While Hollywood defined him as a leading man, Gere quietly built a legacy much greater, that of a humanitarian. In the 1970s, he discovered Tibetan Buddhism. A visit to India and an encounter with the Dalai Lama changed his worldview forever. In 1987, he co-founded Tibet House in New York, a center dedicated to preserving Tibetan culture. Through the Gere Foundation and the International Campaign for Tibet, he became one of the most consistent Western voices for freedom, compassion, and cultural survival. Gere's activism cost him more than movie roles. It cost him access to entire markets. But his response was simple. Some things, he said, are more important than money. He's also worked to raise awareness for AIDS, homelessness, and indigenous rights. In India, he helped fund care homes for women and children affected by HIV. These are not just gestures, they're lifelong commitments. For Gere, spirituality isn't a belief system, it's an action, a daily practice of empathy. Section 5. Lessons from his craft. Beyond activism, Gere's discipline as an artist is remarkable. For Chicago, he trained in tap dancing for months. For Runaway Bride, he composed his own piano piece. He never stops learning, and never hides his age. When asked why he doesn't dye his gray hair, he said, "Because this is who I am. Pretending otherwise would be dishonest." That authenticity makes him stand out in an industry built on illusion. Gere once said that the greatest role an actor can play is himself, the honest, imperfect, evolving self. In every chapter of his life, he models grace, both in fame and in fading light. Section 6. Memorable Moments and Trivia. A few lesser-known facts reveal more about the man behind the movies. He once turned down the role of Gordon Gekko in Wall Street because he felt the film's greed is good message didn't match his values. In 1999, People magazine named him Sexiest Man Alive, but he brushed it off with a smile, saying the real beauty comes from kindness. And despite never being nominated for an Oscar, Gere continues to deliver performances that touch hearts, not just critics. Section 7. Closing and Takeaways. Richard Gere's journey teaches us 5 timeless lessons. 1. Have the courage to follow your calling, even when it's uncertain. 2. Reinvent yourself when life demands it. 3. Use your voice for something greater than yourself. 4. Pursue mastery, not fame. And 5. Stay kind, stay grounded, and let compassion lead the way. He's more than an actor. He's a reminder that success without purpose is just noise, but purpose turns every action into art. And this was the inspiring story of Richard Gere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if his journey inspired you. Thank you for watching. The real power is the power of compassion. Richard Gere.